This is a story of a weak orphan boy in a new world with E-rank skills, who was abandoned by everyone, but he surprises everyone by taking revenge on them. Tuka Mimori had a tough life, getting abused at home by his mother's new boyfriend after his father died. He was beaten every day and barely got enough food, hiding in fear while his mother ignored his cries. He grew up lonely, weak, and lacking confidence. One day, he woke up from a nightmare of his stepfather beating him, only to hear Oyamada, the class bully, teasing Ayaka for reading girly novels. Mimori wanted to stand up for her, imagining how it would happen in a TV show, but he knew in real life, nobody on the bus would care and he might just get beaten up. Most popular kids supported Oyamada, and the others laughed to avoid trouble. The teacher was useless, asleep at the wheel as Oyamada harassed Ayaka for her phone number. Suddenly, Mimori stood up, facing Oyamada and telling him to leave Ayaka alone. Oyamada laughed and called him weak, but then Kirihara, the popular guy, told Oyamada to give the book back to Ayaka, and he doesn't care about Mimori at all. Surprisingly, Oyamada obeyed and returned the book to her. Mimori was puzzled why Kirihara helped Ayaka, which is something unusual for him, but before he could think more, everyone on the bus was transported to a different world. They all stood there completely shocked, in a place they didn't recognize, with a beautiful goddess standing on a bridge introducing herself as Goddess Vicious. She explained that whenever a demon king threatened their kingdom, the aliens' kingdom summoned brave warriors from other worlds to protect them. 200 years ago, the kingdom of aliens faced near destruction from the demon king. Thanks to some heroes, they defeated him and wiped out his entire army. Now, with the demon king resurrected, they had been brought to this world as new heroes destined to defeat him and save the kingdom. The students were utterly confused, wondering if they were dead or if this was some kind of prank. Their teacher quieted them down and instructed them to listen to what the goddess had to say. Mimori looked around at the ancient architecture, the soldiers in armor holding spears, and the goddess with her golden eyes, then pinched himself to check whether, if he was dreaming or not. Kirihara spoke up, asking the goddess what would happen if they refused to cooperate. Vicious smiled and explained that she wouldn't be able to send them back to their world. Kirihara asked if there was any way to return, and Vicious replied that a reverse summoning ritual could send them back, but they needed to kill the demon king to obtain a special item called the evil element, which would be dropped upon his defeat. Oyamada yelled at Vicious for bringing them to a new world without their consent and refused to help. Vicious knelt down and pleaded with them to save her kingdom from destruction. Ayaka voiced their doubts, saying they were just humans who couldn't do much. Vicious reassured them, promising they possessed abilities they hadn't yet discovered. Oyamada still thought it was all a joke, so Vicious decided to prove it with a prisoner of war and a giant demon dog. She released the giant demon dog, which immediately attacked and killed the prisoner. Some of the girls were horrified and fell to their knees, while Vicious chanted a spell that engulfed the monster in flames, completely destroying it. She then called the students forward to measure their hidden abilities. After some students were tested, Oyamada approached the crystal, and as soon as he touched it, it glowed bright red. The goddess smiled and said he had A-rank skills. Next, Kirihara stepped up, but when he touched the crystal, it glowed bright gold before exploding. After him, Ayaka went forward and also turned out to be S-rank just like Kirihara. As more students tried, another girl also revealed to be S-rank. Vicious explained that having even one S-rank individual was very rare, but having 3 was extraordinary. Finally, Mimori approached the crystal, but when he touched it, it glowed dim purple. The goddess didn't pay much attention and moved on to the next person. Mimo tried to ask the goddess, but she ignored him completely. He walked away, realizing that even in this world, he was destined to be a background character. After that, Yasu goes up to the crystal and discovers a special dark ability within him, similar to a powerful hero from the past who became the strongest. Finally, everyone checks their stats as the goddess explains that each person has a unique ability. Then, she calls Mimori to the front, and a guard pushes him forward immediately. She sends him down into a dark pit, the lowest rank in their group. Historically, those with E-rank skills have caused trouble and are often put to death. But this time, with so many amazing heroes around, she gives Mimori a chance to save his life. He will be sent to the abandoned ruins, a distant dungeon where criminals and monsters are sent. She tells him that if he survives, they will leave him alone and let him live. Otherwise, it's the end of the road for him. Mimori tries to argue, but the goddess tells him he's in the failure and abnormal category, meaning his stats are so low that no amount of training can improve them. He gets angry and tells her he didn't choose to come here, he was summoned against his will and now they're discarding him. Kirihara interrupts, saying he's wasting everyone's time, especially since the girls are tired. Everyone agrees with Kirihara, and Mimori sinks to the ground, feeling defeated. When Yasu approaches him, the goddess apologizes, saying she didn't mean to hurt him. Yasu, however, rebuffs Mimori, reminding him that as an E-ranker, he should show more respect to his superiors. Mimori loses all hope as the goddess starts the ritual and tosses him a leather bag as his special item, which turns out to be completely useless. Ayaka tries to defend Mimori, saying it's unfair to him, and he is also a part of our class, but goddess shuts her down. Frustrated, he raises his arm and uses his E-ranked skill paralysis, but the goddess easily stops that. Kirihara also casts a spell, conjuring a huge fireball, explaining it was just a small demonstration of mana use. Everyone laughs at the vast difference in power between Mimori and themselves. Mimori bows his head, tears streaming down his cheeks. He remembers how he used to cry when he was younger. Suddenly, something inside him urges Mimori to stop pretending to be good and show his true nature, the feelings he's suppressed for so long. He looks up with eyes filled with anger and tells the goddess she's wicked, warning her to watch out if he survives. Immediately, he finds himself in a dark cave. He tries to check his status but struggles due to the dim light. Then he put some mana into the leather bag and the gem started glowing. He used it like a lantern while walking through the cave. Suddenly, he saw skeletons under his feet and got scared. He wondered what had killed so many people. Suddenly a monster attacked him. He narrowly dodged it and ran away. The monster chased him as he ran with all his strength. He thought about fighting back but he knew that the monster was too powerful. Fear overwhelmed him, and he started crying. He felt a terrible feeling and fell down. As he looked back, he saw the monster ready to kill him. Frustration and fear took over. Just as the monster was about to strike, he tried a last-ditch effort and cast a paralysis spell that petrified the monster. He quickly got up and ran to the end of the cave. There, another bird demon approached him, clearly intending to kill him. Mimori lifted his head and said firmly. He cast the paralyzed spell again, freezing the enemy once more. He realized it wasn't just luck, his spell actually worked. Feeling tired, he checked his stats and saw his mana was almost gone. Knowing he had one more MP left, he tried a poison spell on the monster. It worked well, making the demon turn black and bleed. Sitting on the cave floor, Mimori wondered why his spells were so effective against these demons. Suddenly, he heard something behind him. He turned and saw the Minotaur monster had broken free from the spell, ready to strike him down. Instead of running away, all the anger from those who had mistreated him surged through Mimori. Even though he was completely depleted, he raised his arms towards the demon. Determined to fight for his life from now on, he challenged the demon to face him, unsure if he would survive this time or not. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel.